Night Lori's coming to you at 11:41 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th. I'm glad that my iPad shows the date for me because I cannot believe how quickly the days seem to be passing and that it's August already. Crazy. We're almost a week into August. Crazy. So, anyway, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States coming to you from Wisconsin. So, couple of quick reminders while I wait for my iPad to catch up with me so I can see if anybody's joining me live. If you do join me live, feel free to pause, back up, catch the replay, comment, collaborate. That's what this is all about, is sharing what we love to do. And just a couple of quick ads. In Colors are on sale starting today. And I discovered there is a brand new kit that has the In Colors in it. And it was on sale also. I was really surprised that a kit that just dropped today would be included in that sale. So In Color products, there are some exclusions. I didn't check to see what they all were, but 15% off the 2025 to 2027 In Color products. Yay. And then, hello, Vicki. I'm doing good. How are you? A reminder, too, that the last chance list was just updated. So things that Stampin' Up! Is no longer going to carry, some of them might be discounted prices, some are not, but once they're gone, they go on a discontinued list. So if there's something on the last chance list that you want, you might want to consider getting it sooner rather than later, because later it could be gone. And when they're gone, they're gone. Okay, this is one of the items that's on the last chance list I noticed today. It is only $10. And I started getting this together. I didn't write all of my dates in here yet because it kind of got buried under debris. 115 degrees, Vicki? That's crazy. I hope your air conditioning works. Yeah, we were in, I'd say the mid 70s today, but our dew point was in the upper 60s, so it was kind of humid. Plus, we're getting some of the smoke from the fires in Canada, and it's really, we've got air quality advisories out. So when I go out and walk, it was a struggle, actually. So anyway, this is a Perpetual Beauty calendar kit, and I got it because I want to add all of my dates so that I can have them all in one place and just know every year the birthdays happen at the same time. So I'm going to fill this in, but it comes already bound. All of the pages are in it. You just need to put your labels on them, and then they're listed for however many days there are in the month. You might not be able to see that really well, but just cute little ephemera that goes on there that was all stickers. I don't remember if the sentiment strips were stickers or not. They might have been, I don't remember. But you get a stamp set that has all 12 months in there, and you just stamp through this. And these are like, I think they're champagne colored ephemera pieces that are in there. Hopefully you can see that. But I thought $10 for this is a pretty good price. Oh, you need to open it because it's really nice. I mean, it's heavy. You know, the board on the front and the back is certainly heavy. But I'm going to end up filling it out and then hanging it somewhere by my desk, I think, so that I can see all of the dates. It went together really quick. I put it together right away when I got it. Oh, and here's the stamp set that comes in it. So you get all of the months, all in block capital letters. So, all right. And I'm thinking it must have come with a Stampin' Spot, but I don't remember. Yes, it came with a Stampin' Spot. Looks like Pretty Peacock. So there's the foil ephemera, there's the different colors in there, some foliage pieces, and the accent strips for all of the month sentiment strips. So $10. I was thinking of ordering some just to have like a get together or do them maybe for gifts for my team. I don't know. We'll see how long those last. So let's get down to business because I have a lot of pieces here again. It seems to be my MO lately is lots of pieces. But I wanted to do the Sunrise Sailing set again because let me get some of this stuff a little more organized. We'll have to maybe do some embossing. Great gifts for kids, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about your mom. Yeah, my mother passed away 9 months after we built the addition for my parents when they moved in. So she was only here for 9 months. So I figured she carried me for the first 9 months of my life and I helped her out the last 9 months of her life. So sad losses, but you know, we know it's going to happen. So this is the faux step card that I did the other day on Sunday, actually, in our team shoebox swap. So this again is going to be my inspiration for today's card. I gave the measurements, I think, Sunday night. So I'm probably not going to go through all of those measurements again today. I'll rattle them off quick, but I am going to meld some of the ideas that I did with some of my previous Sunrise Sailing projects. I did a bunch of them. I like nautical things. I don't know, Vicki, if you were watching me when I first got this set, but I spent several days doing Sunrise Sailing things. So I think mostly besides the faux step card, I'm doing more of this than anything else. Now, I didn't create a sentiment for this, so we'll have to just see how that goes. All right, let me get my trimmer up so that we can do the faux step card quickly. So this piece here is 8.5. Ooh, that's only 8. How did I do that? Let me get another piece because that makes a difference. I'll take this piece. All right, we've got 8.5. All right, that's better. You'll have to just ignore my score marks for a minute. So 8.5 by 5.5. So basically half a sheet of cardstock. And then that other half, you're going to make another piece that is 6.25 by 3 inches. This one we're going to score at 2 inches. So let me just go ahead and score that and get that done. And it doesn't have to be super precise, but you know, somewhere around the 2-inch mark. All right, that's going to create our little faux step there. Okay. Now this piece that is 8.5 by 5.5, we're going to score it at 3 inches. All right, I've already scored it. We're going to flip it over. We're going to score it at 6 inches. I've already scored mine. And then we've got here, so after the 6 inches, we have 2.5 inches left. So I scoop my page over here to 1.25 because that's half of 2.5 and flip it back and score it there. That way we can follow the mountains and the valleys to create our faux step card. Okay. So this is going to end up going something like this. Okay. Some of the pieces I obviously took care of before I came on because I try to save time. But it seems like I always seem to go long anyway. All right. I'll try to go fast. It's late. For some of us, it's late. Of course, it's only not even quite 10 o'clock for you, Vicki, right? So with these little pieces, I'm going to look first at this section here. And I wanted to use these pieces here because like on this card, because I did this as an easel card, I had those, yeah, about 10 to 10. Yeah, it's not quite midnight here. For my easel card, I used these pieces here on the edge of my cardstock because they're just an edging piece. That's what they're designed for. I use that to hold up the easel. So I thought with these pieces, I would create my water here. So I did already cut a couple of pieces of those and I ran them through my embossing folder. So all I did was take my piece, my edging piece, ran it through basically like maybe a 2-inch strip. I think I measured mine to be 1.5 inches. 2 inches would give you a little bit more wiggle room depending on how you want to trim it. And then I had another piece that was a scrap, but basically you do the same thing there, probably with the other piece so that they're not exactly the same. And then I ran it through the hybrid embossing folder. All right, so I just put the one plain strip in here and ran it through. All right, always run it with your fold through first so you don't crack your embossing folders. All right, so let me move these out of the way and show you what I kind of had in mind here. So these I'm going to put together, but I want to leave a little slot in here so that I can slip a little boat in there. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this on. You did a screenshot. Perfect. That's what I was hoping people would do if they were interested in recreating it. One of these days, maybe I'll start doing some PDF tutorials, but that's quite a bit of extra work. And I'm retired, you know? I don't know if I want lots of extra work. All right, so I'm just gonna put that on there. And then this piece will go here. But I also have to take into consideration that our step piece has to go on here as well. Okay. So that's going to have to go on here. And I probably should have waited to put this on. Let's peel this off because my step does have to go behind that piece. You know, it's always an adventure, right? All right, so these pieces are ready. I guess we'll sit and wait on those. All right. So let's see what else I want to do next. We could do the back because we've got our, so this is going to be the back. All right. I used my Secret C and you'll notice I'm using all my in colors. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on because we're going to just try to get rid of as many loose pieces as we can. And just a light layer of glue, but glue all to the edges and in the middle is what I like. And then we'll get that centered pretty nicely there. A little bit of fray there. I think I ran it through my trimmer too quickly. All right, and then this piece, let's see. We could do a hoy for the front. We could just leave the back blank. Maybe stamp some seagulls on it. Why don't we do that? There we go. I was gonna say, where are the seagulls? I know there's a seagull in here. We'll do that in Secret C, which of course I didn't pull that one over. I pulled all of the other colors. So we'll just put a couple of seagulls on here. Those are just really pretty seagulls to me. I don't know why I think so, but they are. All right. We'll put that one to the bottom of our ink pads. And then I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this and get that done. Now, again, I did not create my prototype, so I don't know exactly what this is supposed to look like. I cut my pieces out ahead of time, kind of giving me some options with what was kind of in my head. but I think these colors really work well together. Maybe better than any set of in colors in the recent past, where if you wanted to use all 5, you could. I shifted this and it went just a little too far. There we go. Whoops. And I'm just going to get a piece of alcohol because I'm getting stickum on here. Not a piece of alcohol. I'm getting an alcohol swab so I can take some of this adhesive off of here. It doesn't help that I have glue on there from my strips. So let's try to work on that piece next. Sorry for the cleaning delay, but you know, sometimes you have to just clean when it gets bad enough. And it was bad enough. All right. So what I have in mind is to use some clouds. So here's my faux step piece. I've got a layer here, so I can go ahead and put that on again. And this layer here, I think is, what is this? 5 3/8 by 2 7/8. I'm looking at my template from the other night. All right, so we'll put this on here. Now the other night I did actually, and I think I posted pictures of it on Facebook, on my Laura's Little Bit of Craftin' page. I did put some layers here so that it just didn't look like it didn't belong. Okay. Now this one I could have lined it up with a little thinner border. Hello, Sarah, welcome. We're working on a faux step card with the in colors because they went on sale today. All right. So what I wanted to do here, what my vision is for this to go here, but I wanted this to be like sunset. All right, because that's going to be our sky, part of our sky. So what I thought I would do is some blending. So let me just get a scrap here. And we're going to do a little bit of cloud cover. Now, if you're not a demonstrator, you don't have access to this cloud cover because Stampin' Up! Is not releasing it. Hello, Nicole, welcome. Stampin' Up! Is not releasing this color to customers because it didn't meet their quality standards. Some of the pads had a shift in the ink color that they weren't happy with, but they did open it up for demonstrators to get it. So I did order one. I'm happy with the color, and I have ordered a few extras, and anybody who orders during the in color sale, so during August from now to the end of the month, if they place a $30 order, I will gift a free ink pad for up to the first 5 people. So $35 order, whether it's in color or not, doesn't really matter, and you can only be in the US. So so I'm going to put a little bit of this cloud cover up here. And I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out since I already had this one run through the embossing machine, but it kind of seems like it's working all right. Let me put a little bit more color there. Thank you all for popping on tonight. All right, so we're going to put blue up above, and I think that's probably dark enough. How are you tonight, Nicole? We're going to do a little bit of yellow here. Darling Duckling. And I'm just going to start from the bottom and move up a little bit here. I don't care too much about this part because it's going to be covered. And then I'm going to add some Darling Duckling, or that was Darling Duckling. I'm going to add some Timid Tiger. This is just an experiment. We'll see how it looks. And you can see that when I pick up my ink, I'm doing a little circular motion. You can see where some of my ink's been pushed away. But then I get the harsh ink off on my scrap before I take it into my project. So let's add a little bit of orange in here, that Timid Tiger. And then I think I'm going to put a little strawberry slush, and we'll see if that looks sunset-ish, or if it looks sunset-ish enough. I've had some really pretty sunsets here the last couple of nights. And our skies do actually get kind of pinkish. It's really pretty cool. I'll put a little bit of strawberry slush down here too, I guess. It looks a little too Darling Duckling to me. Let's see how that'll look. Oh, I think that's kind of pretty. So that's going to go on there. I think that'll work. I think I'm happy enough with that. What do you think? Blending is always just kind of what happens, right? I mean, you can plan what it's going to look like, but the end result is not always perfect. So the one other thing I want to try, and let's just take a look. Thank you, Vicki. I'm actually happy with those colors. I'm going to try to do something here. Just on this scrap, I inked up my craft white, and I just want to, oh, that'll be good. I'm going to go over, excuse me. See, I don't think I talk enough during the day, so when I go in and do my videos, my throat gets dry. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this upside down because I want to just add some white highlights where these clouds are up. See what I'm doing there? Can you see that? So I'm just using the craft white, and it just lightened up the color for those clouds. So of course I should have let it dry a little bit more. Now I've got a little bit of color on my white, but we'll deal with that later. I don't think it's going to be enough color in there to make anything look bad. So let's go ahead and put this piece on. So Vicki, you must be kind of getting used to my random, oh, let's try this style. You just have to sometimes cut and play and color and just see what works. All right, so the one thing about the craft white ink is that it does take a little bit to dry, so be aware of that. I'm noticing that it's a little tacky, so that's fine. Yeah, Vicki, I've decided we're very similar styled crafters. I'm going to go ahead and put this away because I am not going to need this now since I was able to do my embossing or my ink blending on that piece. All right, so I think we're done with all of those. Let me just pop these under here. And again, this is what we're shooting for, this faux styled card. And that's exactly it. You don't know what you're going to like until you try it. All right, so I did, for the sake of time, try to cut a bunch of these little boats. So I think what I'm going to do is, oh, here's another issue. This should have been under here. All right, well, it's going there. So I think I'll put a little bit of glue. Trying to get rid of all my little pieces. I'm going to put a little glue on the back of here. I'm going to tuck it back in where it seemed to fit. I should have put this on first, but I didn't. So it is what it is. All right. All right, so that looks pretty straight. Sorry for the coughing again. All right, so that'll work. And that's not really going to go anywhere, okay? So then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back of here. And we're going to go ahead and start sticking down some of this water. We're just going to have this folded nice and flat. So this is going to fit in... It's supposed to fit in our envelope. Oh, it's not going to because this has to be down here. I am going to have to trim this or start over. Good thing I looked at that. All right, let's get my little spatula. Yeah, it's always an adventure. Always an adventure. All right. Boy, I got that stuck in there good now, didn't I? There we go. Whew. All right, so let's go ahead and put this down in here and make sure it's going to fit in our card envelope. And I might have. I wonder if the one that I did the other night wasn't going to fit in my envelope, because I had it set up a little bit. I didn't even try that. But this, if you put it down at the base, it'll fit in the envelope. All right. I should have tried that on the other card. All right. So you might want to do that when you're making this. Make sure that when you put this on, it's going to fit. All right. Let's try this again. And I'm just going to trim some of this off. Well, I loosened it up some, but I don't know if I loosened it up enough. I could get my heat gun out, but that's an awful lot of effort. Some of this is still pretty stuck. I don't know if it's quite far enough down. You know, these things happen. I think I'm going to be better off just trimming a little bit of this off. So I'm just going to take off like a 1/4 inch. Just act like I didn't have to do that. Just pretend. Pretend that I did it right the first time. But usually things can be fixed. So let's go ahead and pop this back in here. See, if I would have thought about my card a little bit better ahead of time, I wouldn't have had that issue. All right, so there's our faux step. Okay. Got a little bit of glue hang over there. All right, so let's go back to our water for the front now. So this piece can now go on here. We're going to do like this. And that'll cover up the boat a little bit more too, so it'll work out. And this piece, this cloud cover piece, was actually just a scrap from a previous card that I did where I used the different edges on it. So we're going to put this piece so it goes up just past our fold line. Because I don't want to see the edge of this layer where I've got the water cutouts, okay? So I'll put that there, and then this piece I can actually trim down just a little bit so that it shows a little bit more of that. Maybe I don't need to trim it down. Water is not always exactly even. Let's just glue this as it is. And I'm only going to glue on the back of my piece, not the front. I'm only going to glue kind of the edges and along the bottom for now. Because remember I mentioned I want to put my boat in there. I have a sailboat for the front of this too. I want to make sure I don't have overhang because I certainly want it to fit in my envelope. Okay. Now this one's actually laying flatter than the one I did the other night, probably because I've taken so many things out of it. And maybe because my other one won't fit in the envelope. Live and learn. I wonder if this one will fit in an envelope. Ooh, just barely. Just barely. So this should actually be down a little bit further, but anyway. All right, so it's coming together. All right, so there's the back. I'll put another piece on here with a layer. And then we've got our sunrise or our sunset, whatever it wants to be, and our water. And I've got a little bit of blue overhang here. So let's go ahead. Were you still leaving the gap? The gap for my boat? Or was that an older, might have been an older comment, huh? Let me try to get this glue off my fingers. A little bit off of there. Yeah, so this, let me, I thought I had a white, I do. So I have a white boat here because this is going to fit in here because I want it to go between the water layers. But I need to make sure it's down so it's not extending past the top of this unless I'm going to hand deliver it to somebody. If I want it to go in the envelope, I have to make sure that it's inside. So what I wanted to do was dress this up a little bit with these sails because I like how that looks. All right, so the other thing that I did, let me get some of this stuff put away. Yeah, I'll angle it a little bit because it's on the water, because that works. So the other thing I did was I also cut with these dies, wherever I put my dies. So I did several of the boat bases for the small and the medium-sized boats because I'm going to stack those. And then I did some different colors for the sails because I wasn't really sure what my mood would be like, what I want it to look like. And then I did a few different options for the bigger one. We're not going to do that many boats. We're just going to do single ones. But then I also took, here's a couple of our little seagulls that I cut out. I also took a piece of pecan pie and just cut the bottom part of the boat die to have like, I don't know if that's the hull or what it's called. All right, so I'm actually going to go get a pecan pie ink pad because I want to run my ink pad, I think, over those to add a little bit of texture, the appearance of texture, because the embossing folder doesn't give us any texture. We're just going to see how this looks. Hopefully it won't be too much. And just really ever so lightly rubbing that ink pad over these pieces. I was trying to use that cutout to kind of hold my piece, and I don't know if you can see these or not, but these two are working out pretty well. This one we're just going to kind of go like this. It's getting kind of dark. There we go. I probably could have tried to sponge it too, like with daubers. There we go. Most of that's going to be under the water anyway, where I got it too dark. It's always an experiment. All right, so let's go ahead and glue these together. And I'm just doing the extra layers to give them some stability, because the mast pieces, especially on the smaller boats, are a little fragile. All right, and here I'm just going to trim this off. And I don't know if I want that whole stem on there. Yeah, I think we'll leave that on there. Sarah, you're right. We do learn from our mistakes on a good day. Sometimes we do those same mistakes next time because we forgot. But it'll be fine. All right, so this one I'm going to put a dimensional on the top part of this. And then we're just going to put glue here. And so you don't even see a whole lot of that boat anyway. And in fact, I'm going to move it over here a little bit, because this is the shape from the embossing folder with the other boat, the other sailboat. And I'm not really wanting that to show. So I think this'll work. Because then I can see a little bit of the blue water behind here. I don't know if you ladies can see that or not. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the back of the boat part. And we'll take off the dimensional backs. And tuck this in here again. Well, that's kind of low there. I want it to look like a sailboat still. Maybe angle it a little bit more. That'll be fine. All right. And then these other sailboats, let's glue those together. I can get rid of these pieces here. So I'm just going to start gluing these layers together. I found that on my other card, 3 layers kind of gave it enough stability that I didn't worry about it too much. 2 might be enough, but I think 3 was better. Kind of like with the glasses and shoes for my popcorn guy. And then that one I'm not going to need. And then we need to decide if we want Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, or a Timid Tiger version. So let me know what you think. And then whatever ones we use, we have the little pecan pie part of the boat to put on. And I did 4. I guess I didn't really need to do 4. And then this one we'll decide if we want to do strawberry slush or secret sea. I don't think I want to do secret sea just because that one is secret sea. So that narrows it down. We're down to strawberry slush. I should probably have considered doing one with the darling, or yeah, the darling duckling. But that didn't happen. I was kind of thinking that I would have more of the darling duckling showing through with my blending. But we'll just have to remember that I used it. So I did actually use all of the in colors on this card, believe it or not. All right. Any votes for the sail colors? We could do kind of like this one here. Or we could do the really beachy. I think maybe subdued. We'll do these. So we'll do strawberry slush for the bigger one. And that's part of our sunrise or sunset colors. And then we'll do timid tiger on this one. I think when I did my faux step card the first time, it went a little smoother. I'm not sure why. So we can save these for another project though. All right. So for this one then, I have this piece that can go back here. And then our little boats can go here. But I think I should have glued this ahead of time, of course, but I didn't. Now what I could do is some more blending brushes. Luckily there was nothing that obstructed getting that piece on there. Whew. So these are going to go in here to kind of look like one's further away. And then we're going to just stamp the ahoy. So should I put a white layer behind here with some more blending on it, or just leave it? Blend or leave it? No blending, just leave it with the secret sea. So it looks good with the secret sea. Cool. That's easier. I like the way you think, Vicki. So fussy cut or leave blocked? I'm thinking I need to fussy cut it, because this can come up here. Oh, actually, if we just put it in the water, it could seem like it's just floating, and then I could just leave it blocked. What do you think of that? Let's just put a little dimensional on the back of there. And we can tuck this in there. It does help the boat stand out. I think you're right. And I did get a new bottle of glue out because I was kind of tired of fighting with the other one. There, I think that works. All right, so one other thing I wanted to look at is if I had, I do, some more of these little water pieces. Now I could put these in here. Oh, and that one's a different color. I need another Secret Sea one. That might be overkill. Let's just put these little puppies in here. I think it'll be fine. So let's do this one first. I'm getting some messages. Some messages are popping through. Hopefully the dinging's not too distracting. So we'll put this one here. We'll go down there, I guess. And then this one we can kind of put at an angle there. I think that kind of works. It doesn't matter that that one's above the dark background because it'll stand up. I think it'll look all right. I might still want to add some waves. A layer of waves I think will probably look good. Not necessarily with these pieces, but I'll do that afterwards. I'll post pictures on my Facebook page. The only other thing I had here was these couple of seagulls, but I don't think I really need them because there's seagulls here in the clouds. You can't, it's hard to tell, but they are seagulls. Of course, I can't pick them up either. So those are seagulls there. We could probably put a couple over here. We'll just add a little bit of glue. Hopefully my head wasn't getting in anything here. I'm trying to be super light with the glue, so of course nothing's coming out. And when it does come out, it's probably going to come out gangbusters. There we go. Come on. Come on. We'll put it over here. Yeah, I think that works. Could put another one over there. It won't show a whole lot, but it'll get rid of a little piece that I have. And again, I'm trying to be really gentle with the glue so that I don't get it all gunked up there. All right. There. Phew, that was an effort, right? And then we can just use this for our message. I will put another layer here. What do you think? Put it down in orange. Oh, put the other seagull down in the orange part or move that one? Let's see if I can fish out my... I put it in my recycle bin already. You gotta speak up faster. There it is. I found it. So one down in there. That would be pretty, wouldn't it? All right, let's try this last seagull. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate that you like this. You just never know what you're going to get. How about here? Is that all right? It does add a little something, doesn't it? And it's always good to have them in threes, right? All right. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you all for popping in tonight and keeping me company, collaborating with me. I think I will add another layer of the water in here because I can access that easy enough. I'm not going to worry about this layer here because of course we don't see that. And it looks like I need to put just a little bit more glue back on here where I had to peel it apart. And I think that would be a fun card for anybody. So the other thing that I like to do is decorate my envelopes. So I think what I'll do is I will find my pack of Designer Series paper. It was hiding on me because it's getting so small. And I think we'll do this one. So what I do is, you ladies might do this. Sometimes I run it through an embossing folder. Sometimes I glue the Designer Series paper on here. And it's just a good way to use up a lot of my Designer Series paper. Because basically you only need a scrap that's like 2 1/4, or if you want to be generous, 2 1/2 inches. So if I take this, and if I trim it to just past like 2 1/4, like maybe 2 3/8, this fits right on here. I like to keep it down from the top just a little bit so I can see just that white line across the top. You are welcome, Nicole. And then I just take my snips and trim it away. This is not a new idea, but I am a fan of it. And I don't like naked envelopes. And I usually have so much Designer Series paper that it doesn't hurt to use a little piece that's 2 1/4 by 6, right? There we go. All right, so there's our card. I love it. Okay, phew. Thank you all for helping me through this card. It was a long one again, but you know, I'm a putsy stamper. Vicki, we've talked about that before. I don't like to rush through the cards. I think it interferes with the creative process. So thanks for stopping in. Thanks for collaborating. I hope you enjoyed the card. If you feel so inclined to duplicate it, feel free. Share it. Give me some hearts or thumbs up. If you've got some cards you want to post, something similar to this, the same layout, you know, the fun fold, whatever, go over to my Facebook page and add a comment with your picture there as well. I would love to see what everybody's working on. So until next time, happy crafting.